welcome to Ask Win, everyone. And as soon as I get over my technical difficulties with uploading this podcast, you guys will be able to hear it. I feel like I'm recording episodes and putting them in the can, and they have nowhere to go. So that's my problem, not yours. But for right now, I am doing a co-host takeover again because I have a very interesting guest. He has a phenomenal podcast. I said he. He is Joe from Stacking Benjamins, and Stacking Benjamins is a money-related podcast, which you might be scared of where this is going, but Joe is going to interview me about my money story. Eek. That's going to be a little bit scary, but the way Joe does it, it's not to me too scary. Oh, so we hope. So I'm going to let my co-host for today take it over.
I can't believe, Win, you're letting me take over the show.
Well, yeah, I'm letting you take over the show.
That is fantastic, and you have no idea what you're getting into with this either. I mean, I could totally wreck the show. Who knows? No, I'm kidding.
Well, no, you're not kidding. Yes, you are kidding, but in a sense, we have something in common here. We both do it from a basement. Do it from a basement. I do it from my house. You do it from your mom's basement, which I find hilarious that we're both doing it from houses we grew up in, or you just saying that I do it from my mom's basement, or is that the true fact?
No, the show is live from my mom's basement. My mom's neighbor, Doug, is our announcer guy. The show is 3 days a week. And my co-host is a working certified financial planner. And I used to be a financial planner for 16 years, and I was with American Express, also doing public relations for them. So we have a lot of fun. Mom generally stays out of it, which is also good.
Yes. But you need the support of your family to do this. This is not cheap, you guys, and so you need the support of your family. So I'm going to let Joe take over now because now that I got my questions out of the way, I'm going to let him take over.
Excellent. Well, it's interesting because I have worked with clients that have had disabilities before, and it's always, everybody has, as you know, such a unique story. How has a disability affected your finances, Win?
Well, okay. I'm one of the lucky ones. I am one of the major lucky ones that I can hold a job. When I say hold a job, it's only a part-time job because I'm on Obamacare and you're only allowed to make $1,000 a month on Obamacare. And so I'm one of the lucky ones that I can hold a job, and I'm slowly going into early retirement from that job, slowly but surely, because it's teaching. And as we all know, with teaching, teachers don't make a heck of a lot of money. And I could have used stronger words than that, but I won't. But teachers don't make a heck of a lot of money. So I'm slowly transitioning into a full-time writing career because I feel like I can share my story even wider with my new career. I'm actually going back to my program next week as of February 5th to finish out my degree in journalism.
Nice. Well, it's interesting when you talk about the transition. How have you set up your money to make that transition? Because obviously being able to do that requires, maybe student loans, maybe that you put some money in an emergency fund. Tell me what you did there.
I have two student loans, which I'm gracefully going to pay off in the next couple months here, because student loans are the death of all of us, disabled or not, and they are at a fixed interest rate, 3.5, and so I got those to my school. I also am lucky that I have a program, the Disabilities Program of Colorado, the Adult Rehab Program of Colorado. They actually paid for my program as well. So I'm extremely lucky when it comes to going back to school.
It's funny because when I talk to people that are getting ready to go to school, they often think that they're not going to be eligible for some programs like the one that you mentioned. And it's frustrating to me because there are programs available. How did you find out that there was some money available? Did you go to the school and ask them, or what was your process?
Well, I actually got kicked out of my original degree program. So then I went to FAFSA, which is the United States Education Program, and I applied. I got FAFSA, and then I actually went to the Colorado Vocational Rehab Program looking for a tutor, believe it or not, and they said, well, not only can we pay for a tutor, which they're going to do, we can potentially pay for your program. And at that time, it was 7 days after my 30th birthday, and I was still in this program I started the program in March, and I met with them in June. And so I was very lucky. I walked in there saying I had a job, I had 2 student loans lined up, and a grant. So I didn't really need the financial backing from them. I'm also very lucky that I have a trust fund set up for me, which is coming full-fledged here in the next couple of years. And so I'm very lucky when it comes to finance. I have 2 rainy day funds, which are certificate of deposit, which I haven't dipped into yet, lucky me, and I live with my dad, so that is a huge expense right there that I don't have to pay rent because I happen to live in one of the most expensive towns in the country, one of the most expensive zip codes in the country, Aspen, Colorado, and we're right up there with California. So basically, I'm very lucky when it comes to finances, and let's keep it that way.
Well, I like a couple of things you said there. As a former financial planner, I like the fact that you have an emergency fund, and I'm sure there's a big number of your listeners that don't think about having an emergency fund, and it's so important because if something goes wrong, you've got money that's readily available that you can go to. Obviously, you don't want to break those CDs if you don't have to, those certificates,
No.
but the money's there. And I love the fact that you're working on paying down your student loan quick too, because like you said, it'll be the death of you.
Yeah, and then I'm going to be working on paying down my credit card debt. That's another story in itself. But first, the student loans. Second, the credit card debt.
Gotcha. Well, let's talk about your budget, because when you get your paycheck, obviously it's important to have it laid out, like what you're going to do with the money. How do you budget?
I should be better at this. I don't live on a budget. I don't live on a budget. I should be better at this, Joe. I know my listeners can kill me when I say I don't live on a budget. But, my money goes towards my books because I am a self-published author. I am slowly getting out of the self-publishing industry to make more money, not enough to kick me off Medicaid, but to make more money off my books, just so I'm financially stable.
Gotcha. You know what's funny though is that when you say that you should budget, I'll tell you a secret, because I've met with hundreds of families about their money.
Yeah.
Very, very few people actually have a budget, so you're not alone when you say you don't have a budget. I'll tell you what I like. I really like, for people that have a smartphone, I really like some of the apps that are out there now that people can use. I like Clarity Money. It's a very easy to use app that interfaces with your bank. A lot of times the bank has some budgeting software, and apps that people don't know anything about.
I have both my bank app on my phone, and I use a wonky bank too. It's only to Colorado. And then I have the app, which I actually heard on your show, believe it or not, in Power, which you had the app developer on your show. I heard that in my earbuds, and I marched right over to the app store, and I'm like, well, this is going to help me see where I rhyme. And so I'm like, let's click download this app. So I hope after I get my degree fully completed that I can be on a better budget myself.
Anyway, amen. Well, let's transition, because you mentioned your writing, and a lot of people listening are probably interested in writing. When did you first become interested in writing, and how did you get into it?
Well, I went to a private school, which I teach at, believe it or not. I teach at the private school that I went to for elementary school and for middle school. So that's where my paycheck is coming from. And so I was lucky enough to go to a private school, which has its wonderful advantages, and public school has its wonderful advantages too, don't get me wrong, for someone who's in special ed. But one of the things we did was we were lucky enough to go, during my 8th grade year, we were lucky enough to go to Washington, D.C., where NPR is. And I saw this big, huge, I actually saw a story break at NPR while we were there. And granted, this was when I was in 8th grade. And so I saw this big, huge podcast in my head at the time. I didn't know that writing could be an actual job. But after I had a tragic loss in my life, I lost my mom to a brain aneurysm / meningitis. She died of meningitis, and a huge hospital bill later. Thank you very much. Insurance wasn't kind to my family. Nope. Insurance wasn't kind to my family. So I began to write my journey down, and my journal happens to have a name, and it still can be found on Amazon. The name of my journal, aka my book, is I Come a Win. And ever since then, I've been writing books after books after books after books. So when I do go into early retirement from teaching, I have a side income that I can make from.
That's nice. What's your process writing? Do you set a word count every day that you're trying to reach? Do you want to do a chapter, or how does it work?
I wish I could be more organized. I wish I could be more organized than that. I use Apple's Siri dictation, both on my iPad, both on my iPhone. And right now I'm actually in the process of getting signed with an agent with one of the big publishing houses in New York, because I just feel like getting out of the self-publishing industry. Although, don't get me wrong, the self-publishing industry is great, but you can't make $1,000 a month, which I need for my company. I need $1,000 a month, and teaching isn't going to do it. If I wasn't set up in the way I am now, I would have to get a second job, like most teachers do. I mean, let's face it. Someone asked me once, "Are they paying you low because of your disability?" And I just looked at this person and shook my head. I'm like, "Do you understand what I just said? I'm a teacher. Teachers don't get paid well in general." And I can fucking talk about that for an hour, Joe, but I'm not going to. So that's why I need the money. I need it to come, not necessarily into my bank account, but into my PayPal. So I have a rainy day fund in my PayPal as well.
I like how you're laser focused on a set number. I find too often when I talk to people that they don't have a number in mind, and for everybody listening, having a goal like Win has, it makes it, having a tangible goal means you're going to do better stuff with your money. You're going to bring home your money. You're going to be focused on that and do much better. When it comes to your writing, you know, a lot of people think that sitting down and writing is pretty easy, which you and I know is not the case at all. It's incredibly difficult when you've got that blank sheet in front of you. Where do your ideas come from?
My crazy life. My crazy life. I base my books off my life. No, I truly do. I mean, if I didn't have a schedule and you went on my schedule, I would have a million people walking in and out of my schedule. So that is one of the other things. When you become a freelancer, you have to know where the money's coming from. And slowly but surely, and hopefully today I can give you guys a better answer as to what my freelance career is going to look like. But as a freelancer, you have to know where the money's coming from. And so my whole team is freelance, and so I have to pay them with my paycheck, which gets a little complicated because my paycheck is small, not because of my disability. I also have SSDI, which is a nice benefit, but so that in combined with my paycheck is that's how I make my living and while I'm transitioning. And I got that because of my father's retirement. And so I didn't know when there was such a thing. When my dad retired, I thought we went down to the SSDI, Social Security office, for him. I was just coming along for the ride when they started interviewing me and asking me all these questions. I'm like, what's going on here? And they're like, Win, you're about to get put on SSDI because of your father's retirement. I'm like, lucky me. Lucky me. And so, so that's what I'm doing.
Gotcha. And then I think my last question with our time on this episode is, what do you see yourself doing with your money in the future?
Well, the first, and this will be public knowledge, the first thing I'm going to do is buy my house, really buy my house, out, split it with my dad, because I think real estate is the best investment. And we've talked about this, about me buying my house with my trust fund.
Got you. Well, and it is interesting when you talk about buying property, because over long periods of time, stocks, of course not individual stocks, but if you buy like a mutual fund, which is a collection of stocks, or exchange traded fund, and real estate are historically the two asset classes that reliably beat inflation. So buying property is a good thing.
That's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to, because I need help due to my disability, I'm going to pay whoever I hire out to help me, and then, but the first thing I'm going to do with my trust is buy my house. And I'm like, really? You want me to buy my house? And my dad goes, yes, because real estate is a great investment. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. And so once that trust kicks in, I'm going to buy my house, and it's going to be very little weird because this is a house I grew up in. This is a house that I grew up in. And so you guys know, as I said to Joe earlier, does your show come from your mom's basement? And he goes, yes, it does. And so I think living with your parents, disabled or not, if you can do it, I know parents drive people nuts. My dad drives me nuts. Probably Joe's mom drives him nuts. But if you can do it because there's advantages. One, you don't have to pay a rent check.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage.
That's a huge advantage.
Yeah. Well, on my end, I think I did it. I think that's all the time that I had, and I certainly could do this for 4 hours, but I'm not sure how much more time we want to take.
Well, you can ask me a couple more questions. How does that sound? 2 more, and then we'll call it good.
That does sound good. So buying buying property, your house is one goal. But have you thought about during semi-retirement, you thought about what you want to do, but have you thought about other investments outside of buying half your house?
No, because I know it would be going towards my help, towards my aids, and so once we conquer buying the house, then I can pay my aids outright, because God knows things will happen to my dad, and I need to be financially set up, and that's why my mom, bless her heart, she financially set me up, and I was shocked when I knew about this. She said in a will, give my trust to win, and I was blown away that she didn't want my dad to have it. She wanted me to have it. I was blown away.
What is, and I guess this is my last question, what is the biggest struggle you find that your disability creates with your money? What's the frustration that some people listening might not realize that you know all too well?
Oh, too well. Okay. The dance between, and I'm going to be honest, you would think having a paycheck wouldn't be nice. The dance between Medicaid and that stupid paycheck. The dance between Medicaid and that stupid paycheck. Oh, that's like, okay, what are we going to do? I can't, even though my day job wants to give me a raise so bad. They want to give me a raise so bad. I say, I can't, because Medicaid is looking at my bank account. I can't, and they are nicely understanding. So the dance between Medicaid and my paycheck and writing books, that's like the student loans are going to be the second death of me. I think the first death of me is going to be making enough money to stay on Medicaid, although being under the poverty line to stay on Medicaid. That is the stupidest dance I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and that's an interesting answer because I would have thought that it might have been something physical, but it's not. It's the stupid system that's the frustration. So it actually only tangentially has to do with the disability. It's having to follow this rule all the time.
Yeah, yeah. It's nothing physical. I mean, people know my physical limitations, but that's the true stress in my life is to be below the poverty line, to stay on Medicaid, and it's like, really? Really? And I talked to a financial advisor to make sure that I could become a full-time lawyer, and he goes, yeah, you just have to make $1,000, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to make $1,000 if I get to the New York Times bestseller list. There's no way. And so it's like, really? Ugh, the stupid system. We love the system, but we sometimes have a lesson learned match with the system. So let me just tell you that.
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear. Well, thanks a ton for letting me interview you.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. And I hope that people learn from this episode. And you guys, you need to go check out stackingbenjamins.com. You need to go check out the website and check out the podcast. It's really, really fun. And as I said, and as Joe said, if you can live with your parents, do it, because they did a New York Times article many, many years ago now, and I was having a self-pity moment, I think, one day, and my dad goes, when I love you, people who are able-bodied are still living with your parents, I won't let you go away unless I go away. So it's like, yep, we all have the same struggle, and go check out Stacking Benjamins. It's perfectly fine, and just know that I have the same struggle. Joe kind of has the same struggle because he's been in retirement, but he knows the struggles that we all face. And Joe, where can people find you? And I know I have your phone number, but that's a little bit of a different case. Could people reach out to you personally? I know they can leave messages on the show, which I have done, and I asked about a 401k because, like, but now that you know my story, I would like to set one up, but we'll get to that to another date. But that's another interesting story in itself. And so where can people find you? How can people work with you if they choose to do so? And do you work with people with disabilities?
Well, number one is I'm not a financial planner anymore, so I don't work with anybody, which is great. I just do the podcast 3 days a week and do another one called Money in the Morning 5 days a week. You can find me on Twitter a lot of the time. I'm Average Joe Money on Twitter, and our Facebook page is facebook.com/iStackBenjamins, and you can reach out and say hi to me there. Those are generally the best ways. Or just shoot me an email at joe@stackingbenjamins. Or if you're ever driving through Texarkana, Texas, just tell me you're coming, and I'll show you one of the 2 great restaurants in town.
Well, that's mighty. That's you, and I'm sure you can recommend financial planners to people with disabilities, because I'm sure you have a big fat book of those, and dealing with a disability and finances is a totally different kettle of fish. I've learned that over the years. I'm really thankful to Medicaid, but as I said, this stupid dance between Medicaid and work and we're going to have to change the system a little bit, but I don't see that happening anytime soon with the second person we have in the office. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. This certain person, that's not me, is trying to pull my health insurance as we speak. If he had his way, I would have health insurance. So, while I have it, I'm very lucky to have it. But as I said, it's the dance. The dance between Medicaid and working. That's the dance. There's nothing physically wrong with me. You thought I was going to say, oh, physical, my kneecap or something. No, I said Medicaid, and it's like, oh my God, that's what keeps me up at night. No, I said to my dad the morning, a certain person went into office. I said, the person was out of my house at 7 a.m. or 6:45. Well, what's going to happen to my health insurance? And my dad just looked at me and said, you will be fine. You will be fine. Don't worry about it. You will be fine. That's what his words at 6:45 in the morning. No, so it's the dance between Medicaid and working and all that good stuff. But if you guys go listen to Stacking Benjamin, you would be a little bit more prepared. And one of the things that Joe gives you is a free gift. And one of the things that Joe says, number one, is direct deposit, which I now have from my bank account and from my paycheck into my bank account, so I don't have to be chasing a check around, which I think is the best thing on the planet.
Me too. Well, obviously,
yeah,
I said it.
Direct deposit. Direct deposit, number one all the way. So I thank Joe for coming on and interviewing me, and as I said, I'll get this episode up as soon as possible, but this has been a fabulous interview, and I thank Joe, and let's do it again in a year to see where I am financially. You'll be my financial accountability buddy along with everyone else.
Deal. Sounds like a plan.
Deal. Thank you, Joe, and I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode with Joe and myself, and I will catch you guys later. Bye, you guys.